Hello everyone, it's UnsungNPC back here with another guide video for you. Today we are checking out the video for just the basic rules and mechanics of this game. We're also going to get into a little bit of combat and kind of the basics of how that works. And I will put a timestamp in the description so that you can skip to that if you just want to be here for the combat part. But if you want to be here for this crazy character sheet stuff and what everything means, we're starting that now. So, I feel like the first thing you gotta know is where your stats are and what your stats are, right? That's probably one of the most important things. It's one of the first things that you pick when you create your character. Stats are very important. So, over here you've got your strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Okay, strength is melee attacks, okay, damage when using your melee weapon, and athletic skills. Alright, there are also some classes that use strength as a key feature of their class. It also has to do with the amount of weight that you can carry as your character. Pretty important stat. I always end up taking points off and going into the negative for it because I don't ever fight with strength. But strength does have its uses for sure, right? Next we have dexterity, okay? Dexterity is for your ranged attacks, right? It also adds to your armor class, and it also adds to your reflex saving throws, which we'll get into in a little second. It's used for trickery, mobility, and stealth checks, and yeah, it can also be used for melee if you are doing a weapon finesse build. Okay, weapon finesse lets you use dexterity instead of strength, but I'm going to do feats videos, so you'll hear all about that in a later time. Constitution. Constitution, most importantly, is your fortitude saving throws, okay, to resist death effects, poison, disease, very big things, and very big things in this game, okay? In Kingmaker, death effects were probably pretty prominent, you know. In this game, poison, disease, death effects, all of it is extremely prominent, okay? You're going to want defenses against all of that stuff. It also has to do with your hit points, all right? It also has to do with your hit points. And no skills related to Constitution, just fortitude saving throws. Okay, intelligence. Intelligence affects how many skill points you get to put into your skills. Okay, so that's pretty important, how many skills you get. It affects the skills Knowledge Arcana and Knowledge World, which is pretty huge. Those are pretty important skills in any RPG. All the knowledge and lore, right? It's also used for spellcasting for a number of classes, including Alchemist, Arcanist, which is the Mage class, Wizards, alright? Those all use intelligence as their base for spellcasting. Very important. Okay, wisdom. Wisdom, most importantly, affects your will saving throws, which we'll get into. Will helps negate from charm and certain things like that, things that affect your mind. Okay, it also affects perception, which is probably the most valuable skill in the game. You can check out my skills video to learn more about all of these skills and what they do exactly. So go check that out if you're curious. It also affects lore nature and lore religion, which are both also big knowledge lore skills in this game. Clerics, druids, inquisitors, war priests, hunters, shamans, and rangers all use wisdom for spellcasting. That's a lot of classes. Pretty much anyone that uses divine magic or nature magic is going to be using wisdom for their spellcasting. So there you go. And then charisma. Charisma is used for use magic device and also persuasion, also one of the most important skills in any RPG, really. It also affects channel energy for clerics and paladins, and it affects spells for paladins, bards, blood ragers, oracles, scalds, and sorcerers. Okay, so a lot of spell casting for charisma as well. Does not serve any other purpose, so if you don't care for those spellcasting classes and you don't care for persuasion, charisma's a great dump stat, honestly. It's a great stat to get rid of if you don't need it. Same with strength, another great stat to get rid of if you don't need it. Dex, Con, and Wisdom will always be important in some way because of saving throws. And Intelligence is just great for skills, in my opinion. But Strength and Charisma, and sometimes Intelligence, are pretty good dump stats if you ever feel like getting some extra points for your other important stats. Leading off of that, we're going to get into our saving throws because I want to talk about what those do exactly, okay? Fortitude, I've already kind of talked about it. It's your ability to handle physical threats, okay? Physical threats that attack your vitality and your core. So poison, disease, death effects, okay? Your saving throw is going to be something that you roll when trying to resist one of those effects. And those effects will have what's called a difficulty class, otherwise known as a DC, okay? And you have to surpass that DC to be able to succeed in resisting that effect. Okay, reflex also is your defense against some certain physical threats, but also some magical threats. Basically, anything you're trying to dodge, jump out of the way from, anything like that, you're going to use reflex. And then will, I think, is probably one of the most important ones. Is anything that affects your mind. If anyone's trying to mentally influence you, make you feel a certain emotion, anything like that, wisdom is going to get hit. Your will is going to get hit. And you want to resist that anytime you can, because those are some of the most dangerous threats, in my opinion. Because physical threats can be dealt with spells, especially divine magic. Reflex stuff isn't as prominent in the games usually, and can also be negated by certain spells, but will is the big one. Okay, that's the big one. You never want to be affected by will spells or will effects because they're usually really, really bad. Okay. And then on this menu over here, you've got your skills. I've already done a video on the skills, which I already mentioned, but it's going to tell you all of your bonuses to your skills come from, how many ranks you have, your total value, what the skills do, etc. Your effects and conditions is going to have all of your current effects and the time they have left and what each of those effects do. So you're going to have that on here, which is good. This is going to be your alignment. Usually there'll be a lot of tiny dots to record your history and your decision making with your dialogue choices and things like that. I respect my character, and when you respect your main character, all of that history gets kind of reset. You have to pick a new alignment. So that's a pain in the butt. I wish they kept it so you could see how you've transitioned into whatever alignment you are now. But just know that if you respect your character, it will go away and you'll just be stuck with the original dot until you make more decisions later on. Okay, your health will be down here. It'll tell you your health, bonuses, your ability modifier bonus, your favorite class bonus, anything like that will be there. Okay, let's get down to AC, armor class. These are your more physical defenses. So armor class is dexterity, armor, any like additional like shield, luck, natural armor, any types of bonuses like that are going to be on here. And bonuses of the same type do not stack. That's what you need to be wary of. Okay, so if you've got an enhancement bonus from something, no, you wouldn't have enhancement for AC. Sorry. If you have an armor bonus, it's not going to stack with a different type of armor. Okay, so if you wear armor and you wear bracers of armor, those armors will not stack. If you use Shield of Faith and wear a Ring of Deflection, those are both deflection bonuses. They will not stack. If you have a natural armor amulet and then you use Bark Skin, those are natural armor bonuses. I can't really recall if those stack or not. Let's find out for sure. So she's got an amulet of natural armor. She will use Bark Skin, and as we can see, it does not stack. Okay, even if you, yeah, does not stack. Okay, armors of things of the same type do not stack. Okay, so be wary of that. Next, you have flat-footed AC. Flat-footed is whenever it's your AC without your dexterity bonus. So any type of dexterity bonus or dodge bonuses that are based off of dexterity. If you lose that, or if you become flat-footed, you will lose that, and that's usually when being flanked or being surprised or anything like that. You'll become flat-footed. Touch AC is just your dexterity. It's just your dexterity, just your dodge. Does not apply any type of actual armor bonus to your AC, and this is usually from certain touch attacks from ghost monsters or certain monsters that you fight, or spells. A lot of spells are touch attacks as well, so you have to be careful with that. Touch AC is a hard one to boost up because there's very little sources that can go into it, so you have to be wary of that and try to manage it the best you can. Okay, over here you'll have your class, your alignment will be up here, your race will be here. You can get all of that information. Okay, we also have our attack bonus. Your attack bonus and all of its sources will be here. Your damage will be here, and then this is what you have to get a critical hit and how much damage multiplier the critical hit is going to do. Okay, so that's your threat range and your critical multiplier. We're going to get into more about what those do in a different tab. So first we're going to go to abilities. Okay, here we go. This is a list of all of your abilities. Okay, these are any abilities that are class features, mythic path features, racial features. Anything that's not a feat that you choose through leveling up is going to be here. Okay, that's what these are, just all of your different abilities. Okay, now feats are going to be here, and feats are the things that you select through leveling up. Every odd level you will select a feat unless your class tells you that you get more or bonus or whatever, but every odd level you will select a feat, and that's where these will be, under your feats. And then traits, traits are different racial traits that you can pick up through the feats menu, but they are racial traits in the tabletop, so they go under traits here. But they are feats as well. Okay, martial. Here's where all your combat jargon is. Okay, you have your base attack bonus. All a base attack bonus is the innate bonus you have to attacking. So I have a plus 13, and 7 of that is my base attack bonus. Each classes will have different scalings of base attack bonus. Some gain a new base attack bonus point every level, some gain 3/4 of one every level, and some gain half a base attack bonus every level. Just depends on the class you're doing. You also have combat maneuver bonus and defense. Combat maneuver bonus is if you're trying to disarm someone, trip someone, bull rush someone, anything like that. If you don't know what all of that is, we will get into it in a future feats video, I promise you. But those will be using your combat maneuver bonus, which is made up of your base attack bonus and your strength and any size modifier, which you normally won't have because medium size doesn't get a bonus of any kind. Your combat maneuver defense uses base attack bonus, strength, dexterity, and any miscellaneous modifiers, and this is your defense against those kinds of attacks. So if an enemy tries to make you fall prone and trip you, if an enemy tries to tackle you, if an enemy tries to take away your weapon, this is your defense against that type of attack. Okay? And over here you will have your bonus towards melee attacks and ranged attacks. So it'll tell you, like mine says +9 because it's my base attack bonus plus my 2 dexterity. For melee, it adds my base attack to my strength modifier, which is -1, so it's 6, so it's lower. So you can get an idea for which one's lower and which one's higher. This does not take into consideration weapon finesse. If you have weapon finesse, you'll have to calculate on your own. It's just going to be whatever your ranged attack is. Okay? If you use weapon finesse, it's going to use dexterity just like ranged attacks, so those will be the same. Over here you have your initiative, which is dexterity plus any other sources that initiative could come from. For instance, I have an ability called Inspirational Leader. Therefore, I'm getting another +2, so my initiative is +4. And initiative is what you use to see who goes first in combat, which I will show you when we get to the combat bit. Okay? Next, we have spell resistance. Spell resistance is going to be your defense against spells. Not all spells are affected by spell resistance. Some spells will hit you whether or not you have spell resistance, but there are some that will not hit if they can't get past your spell resistance. Okay? And when you try to get past an enemy spell resistance, you roll a caster level check, and your caster level is pretty much whatever the level of your casting class is. Okay, so I'm a bard right now, and so my caster level is 10. So I will roll a 10 when trying to get through someone's spell resistance. But I also have spell penetration, which will go through some spell resistance. So that is a thing to think about. Okay? Sorry. Okay. This tells you all of your proficiencies, weapons, armor, anything like that. This tells you if you have any energy resistances, and this down here tells you if you have any damage reduction. Damage reduction means that damage is not going to go through. So if someone hits you for 6 and I have damage reduction 3, I'm only going to get hit for 3 damage. Okay? And energy resistance splits things in half. It cuts any of that energy damage in half unless it says you're immune. If you're immune, you get none of it. But if it's energy resisted, just resisted, then you take half the damage from the energy attack. Alright? On the class page here, you've got all your class stuff. Here's all your feats, okay, from leveling up, basic character level up. This tells you your spell progression, these little dots. The numbers mean you gain access to a new spell level, okay? So bards, for example, can only go up to level 6. And then you've got all your different class features and abilities through level up as well. And that's what is here. So you have your class, and if you do more than one class, you'll be able to scroll down and see all of your classes, what level you are in each class, and all that kind of mess. Okay? Your biography tells you your history of your alignment shifting. As I said, I've only got a couple now because I respect my character, unfortunately, but it'll tell you all of that. It'll tell you your mythic path leveling down here as well, and you'll see your portrait and your name. Okay? So that's kind of the key stuff of the game. This is like your key UI, your know-how, everything like that. I'll show you guys. You've got like quick bar access here. I usually put toggleable abilities on the bottom right down here. You can go here to switch between weapons. This is your backpack inventory, so you'll have 5 inventory slots for different things that you can have. I've got 2 pets and a dinosaur toggled, and I've got some other items that I can use in here. You can put potions and scrolls in there as well. This is like your abilities, which I've moved to down here for ease of access, and then my like per day use abilities I put over here as well. And then you've got your spells, 0 level, 1st level, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and so on. And I usually move all my spells to here. At some point, you're not going to have room for all your spells, and that's when you just start sticking up the ones that are important, or that you use mid-combat, and then put buffs and things like that off, and just keep them in your spell book and just go to here to use them. So it just depends on how you want to play with it. You've only got 2 rows here and 1 row here, so be mindful of that. Okay, this little icon over here does stealth. So whoever you're highlighted over, you can press stealth, and everyone will go into stealth that way. This turns the AI off. If you want to designate what each character does and don't want them doing anything on their own, you can do that. There's also a hold button here for combat, where you can hold your enemies from moving. They will still attack if they have long ranged stuff, but it keeps them from moving forward if you want them to stay put while the enemy comes to you. I use that frequently, actually. I set up a lot of traps and stuff, but that's definitely a method that you can do. Now, we're going to get into combat to kind of show some of the mechanics of that, and so this is going to be the combat portion. So we're going to attack this Smilodon. Okay, and as you can see already, you can pull this up. We've already rolled the first thing, which is initiative. So everyone's rolled initiative. You can see everyone's initiative checks. Okay, everyone's got higher initiative than me. And your enemy's initiative checks as well. Okay, so Smilodon got 19. Our boy Woljif got 31. We got a lot of 20-somethings in here as well. So you can see all of that. If you want to go to the combat tab to kind of make it on its own separated thing, then that can be easier for you. Now we're going to see some attacking here. And as you can see some attacking happening, it'll all pop up in the combat feed or the all feed. So you'll see, like, for example, a Rushlight attacks, and if you hover over it, you'll be able to see the attack bonus against the armor class of the enemy, and you'll be able to see the sources from both of those. And you'll be able to see your roll, and all of that. And it'll tell you how many attacks. So this is attack number 1 out of 3 because Arushale can attack 3 times at this point. And therefore, it'll show you that you've got 1 out of 3 attacks. Okay, and then this will show you the damage source, what weapon or spell you were using, and then it'll give you your damage. So for us, it's 1d8 plus 14, so 16 damage. Okay, and that's how it works there. You can also see when you get sneak attack, it'll tell you sneak attack. If you get a crit, it'll say a crit. We've got a saving throw here. Casilla attacked with the Sword of Hope, which does an added effect, and the Smilodon had to resist our saving throw. So the difficulty class is 14, and the Smilodon's fortitude is plus 14 on base. So it's going to automatically succeed, but because you just have to match it. You don't have to surpass the DC, you just have to match the DC. Okay? And because of that, they did not take the added effect. So that's another thing to think about. In your inventory, you'll be able to see where the different effect is. So, like, for example, okay, it'll tell you like where the added effect for magical items is and things like that. You've got your armor here, 9 plus 3 enhancement. You got your armor check penalty. Armor check penalty means like what the penalty is if you're trying to use either stealth, mobility, or athletics. Those are the 3 skills affected by armor checks. So if you wear too heavy armor, you can't do those things as effectively. Arcane spell failure chance. If you're using divine spells, or nature spells, they don't get affected by armor. It doesn't matter. But if you have arcane magic, it will be affected by the armor that you're wearing, and you'll have a chance not to be able to cast that spell. And then it'll tell you your dexterity bonus and any other qualities it has, right? So you've got a head slot, an eye slot, a cape. You've got 2 ring slots, bracers, gauntlets, boots, belt, undershirt, armor. You've got natural armor. And see this says warning non-stacking bonuses. That means that bark skin and natural armor are not stacking. So the game will tell you when you have 2 things that don't stack, which is a really nice feature that was not in the first game. So really great thing that they added there. You've got 4 weapon sets. 4 weapon sets. If you want to take off the helmet or anything like that, you can toggle it off. You've also got your inventory slots here. Your weapons will go here as well when you put them into here. Okay, and then you've got all your inventory. So you've got weapons, armor, accessories, ingredients, usable items like magical items for potions, scrolls, wands, things like that. Notable important loot, quest items, things like that. And then this is all your miscellaneous sell junk or keys or random notes that aren't as prevalent or important, which you can organize here. This tells you how much weight your party is carrying. It's affected by each party member's strength, and also if you have a bag of holding, which I do. So that gets affected there. Here's your XP bar up here. Okay, so this is pretty much what the inventory slot looks like. All right, this is what your inventory here looks like. I'll also show you your spell book. So if you have a spell book, you'll be able to click between your different spell classes here. So I have Bard and Trickster. They have their own spell casting. They are separated, but you can see all the different spells you have. And if you have spontaneous spell casting, which I do, it'll tell you how many spells you can use per day. And if you have slotted spell casting, you can put your spells into your slots, and then they'll restore when they rest. And then you can click show all spells if you want, so you can see all of the spells, including ones that you don't have, which is cool for, like, I can see what's coming next, or like what I might want to pick up next time. Nice little thing there. Okay, your journal shows your questing. All right, your questing is going to be is everything. I usually toggle off show complete quest because I don't want to see stuff I've already done. And then you can collapse these categories, obviously. And as well, they have timers. There's not actual time constraints. It's just, this is the last chapter to complete this quest. Basically, just finish these quests by the end of the chapter. Everything else can be finished onward, like that. Encyclopedia gives you a bunch of common tips and tricks and tutorial pieces. If you feel like you need the supplement, go for it. Check that out. And you've got your map here, which tells you where things are. These starred things are usually doors or area exits. The little bags are loot pieces. The blue is people you can like talk to or interact with, or people that are just standing around. Red little figurines represent enemies. Okay. Tells you what location you're at, the terrain type for those rangers out there, and your abyssal corruption. Right. Okay. Oh man, that's a lot of info to throw at you, so please watch this video at your own pace. Take it step by step, okay? It's very complicated sometimes. It's very overwhelming. It is not your, baby's first RPG type of game at all. It's a whole other type of level, but it's so fun and so worth it. So I hope that this video really helps you figure out what everything is, how everything works in the more basic sense. I will be doing videos about spells, feats, getting into the mythic paths, getting into the classes, all of that stuff. So if this is like, you're like, I need information on this, and this, feel free to drop a question in the comments. I will make sure that in future videos related to that question, I will answer your question for you. I'm also happy to get back to you in the comments. I respond really quickly most of the time, so please hit me up for that. Again, hope this video was super helpful. This game's awesome. It's amazing. It's a lot of information, but I tend to be pretty knowledgeable at it. It's not like a flex or bragging or anything. It's just I've spent so much time playing Pathfinder in my life that I know a lot of stuff. So I'm happy to answer any questions, anything you might need. If you have any video suggestions or specific videos you want to see about the game, let me know too. If you like this video, like it, subscribe. Wait for all of my other content coming out. Check out my streams. I am streaming Wrath of the Righteous on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Check that out. Join me, talk to me, come say hey. Love to see ya. And there's also a Discord for my community. It's small right now, but you know what? We're getting bigger every day, and if you want to join the Discord and chat with us about games and all matter of things, feel free to join that in the description below and come say hi. Anyway, I'm UnsungNPC, and I will catch you guys in the next one.